Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Yeah, that's right. It's time. Oh, that was loud. Sorry. Welcome in. This is the Eric Zane Show podcast. So glad you are here. The Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures Monday through Friday, right here in the Impact Power Stereo FM studio. Somebody said easy every time you say power for Impact Power Sports Studio. I want you to say power. Impact Power Sports online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Ms. Molly is here. It has been a while. She says, "Good morning, fuckers. I'm back from a 3-week hiatus. Glad to see you back. It has been too long. There hasn't been a lot of major developments other than our sweet pals, Kenny and Jeremy. The weight is falling off these two. Combined, they have dropped a ton of weight. Jeremy's only been at it for 2 weeks and 2 days. Kenny had a longer start, but when they kind of converged because they weighed the same exact weight, like 325 pounds. And I think Kenny's down about between 40 and 50. Jeremy's down about 15 rather quickly. These two slobs are going to weigh in on Monday in the Fat-a-thon. Kenny took week 1. It's like there's fantasy football. This is fantasy fat. I haven't really come up with a prize or an end game for this, but I like keeping track of the Monday weigh-ins, who's lost the most weight, and giving them, the victory or the loss. They're both winners by this losing the weight. However, there is a particular thing with Kenny that I'm concerned with. J-Dog Sparky, that would be Jason Terry, says we need to start gambling with the weigh-in. Like who's going to, like putting money on it, skin in the game, fat in the game. I love that idea. Kenny with the line, the prize is seeing our penises again. Jeremy adds the same thing. Because these guys, seriously, these are sweet individuals. These are good people, good souls. And they're too young to have their, their lives end when it comes to a significant other. Whoever wins gets an all-expenses-paid trip to stay at Chateau Zane. Ugh. Kenny is teasing content. He says, yeah, yeah, mate. Hey, just wait till my update tomorrow night. That would be the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Tomorrow, right here, it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Ryan says, wait a second, there isn't really a prize in it. No, I haven't. No, are you kidding me? I'm not that prepared. FYI, for you folks local to your old pal EZ, I want you to book Friday, December 20 in the afternoon for your assistance with the Great Food Giveaway. Year 1, we gave away 100 meals. Year 2, we gave away 200. Last year, we went back to 100. We figured out 200's too much, 100's not enough. We will be feeding 150 families on Great Food Giveaway number 4. When I give you the word, we'll start combining our resources. We'll figure that out. And then we will buy all of the food ahead of time and then give it away in one fell swoop. I'm actually going to ask our pal Joe Pellerito to gently suggest to his brother to, hey, you know what? Maybe it would be best for you to sit this one out. Mike last year crashed it and kind of made things difficult on us because he was watching from across the street, staring at the ladies on the corner as they were urging people passing by to come down and get the free food if they need it. And then we phoned over and said to them, hey, we've given away all of the food. Come on back. And they came back, and then Mike saw that they were gone. And then he wandered over and started encouraging people to come down the street and get free food, but we had none. I think it would just be best to let it go. You know, you just, at some point in time, you got to put this behind you. Ryan says, let us also not forget, this wonderful giveaway is how Trump gave you your infamous nickname of Big Fraud. Oh, my God. That is so true. I love that. My pal Kenny made a post yesterday, and I don't know if this is the best thing. He posted something to the effect of, I love intermittent fasting. And I'm like, what? And, I mean, I can understand why you love it because you're losing weight. But he wrote, I love intermittent fasting. And then he wrote, because I can eat whatever I want when I eat. He shows like these amazing foods that look, well, I mean, particularly awesome. Now, I understand that. But I don't know if is that accurate, Kenny? I don't know if just, you know, go hard on the fast and then pig out on whatever you want. I thought you said that the app encourages you to eat somewhat sensibly. Like you might have a little more wiggle room, but still you can't like, you know, fast and then head over to Taco Bell. Or am I missing something here? Maybe you could put a finer point on that and help me understand what you're doing there, because I'm pretty sure you can't just eat whatever the fuck you want. I think that might be kind of sideways. I thought that the plan was fast, eat sensibly, and then one day a week, just, you know, crush it. Like, that's your reward, so to speak. I might be getting this wrong. I mean, you know more about this than I do. Chris says, how's Easy's diet going? Aren't you on the intermittent fasting train as well? I am, and nothing has changed for me. I haven't weighed in a little while, and I'm doing that intentionally. So, Kenny, maybe you can explain what's up with that. Speaking of Patreon, where tomorrow is a Big Fraud Thursday, we're going to start off Big Fraud Thursday with episode number 28 of Who Are These Free Beers? Now, if you're watching the show as we speak, this is the latest picture of Free Beer and his hair. It was sent to me by none other than Ben Glaze. Okay. Ben sent that to me, and he wrote, "How does no one say anything?" Ryan says, holy bald, he's got a full-blown Trump comb over, I can't read apparently, going there. Yeah, that's our boy. So we will be busting out Who Are These Free Beers? And I'm excited to play for you a couple of clips where I don't know how to explain it, but the amount of laughter by our pal Free Beer was just off the charts for something that I honestly don't know what was funny. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe because I'm not on the inside. Maybe it was an inside joke. But the bald blonde bomber was laughing his dick off with his hardcore Muppet laugh. He either laughs like a Muppet or Jabba. That was a great observation by Aram. That he's either doing a ha 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 ha, which is almost Pee Wee Herman like. Excuse me. Or the ho 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 ho. Within Latin solo. All right. Nick writes, yesterday's Patreon was hilarious. I wish I was there live. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. We did have a good time. There were some significant descriptions that led to some real heartache from Patty and Thelma, Maureen and Linda, about Maureen's husband, Terry, and what would happen if he got into a hot tub with Maureen and Terry. Now, Linda says, yeah, everything was great except for the hot tub part. But no, I would say that that was the best part of it. There were some amazing references there and descriptors that I think made this a legendary show. And I think you should go back and get it if you have not listened to it. Maureen says, must we revisit this? Well, I wouldn't dare give you specifics on what happened on a Patreon show because I don't want to ruin it. I mean, people pay good money for that shit. So to me, it's bad business to do the Patreon show and then show up in the free platform and tell you what happened on the Patreon show. That's not what this is about. I forgot who suggested this, but there was a suggestion that was made to me about the Dude Shadoway episodes. I just recently posted 40 episodes of Dude Shadoway interviews. Thank you to Ben Glaze for tapping into his reserve pile. He actually just kind of stumbled upon them on an old hard drive, sent me all the material, and I posted it on Patreon. Now, eventually, I'm assuming, I haven't heard anything yet, and they just might not give a shit, and that's awesome, that I will get a C and D because though I booked the interview, I wrote the bit, my character, me doing it, I don't own that material. So me posting that there, it opens me up to some legal wrangling. So it wouldn't surprise me if I get a cease and desist about that material. The suggestion was made that I take every episode of The Dude and put them on one file. A Dude supercut. And then publish it. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. I want people to have options. And so absolutely, I am going to get that done. Concerning yesterday's discussion on the Patreon, that was a big laughing point for Nick. Not so much Linda and Maureen. Nick wrote, this all happened because Linda doesn't like to get into hot tubs with family members. Nick said, the hot tub smeg talk. My ex hated the word broth, which I used to describe dirty hot tub water after my dirty ass got out. Ugh. And Jeremy refers to it as Terry's own Grundle cider. Chris asks, will there be any more Who Are These Zanes again? Yes. I just don't know when. Right now, as we speak, Europal EZ is waiting on a response. All right, good deal. I'm just looking at it right now. I will need your cell when you send me the Zoom link. All right. So, legendary rock band Foghat. Now, if you're younger, you probably don't know them. But you might remember them from their song Slow Ride. If you play Guitar Hero, I think it's on there. Slow Ride, Take It Easy. And then they also do a version of I Just Want to Make Love to You by Fleetwood Mac. It's outstanding. Other hits, Fool for the City, Stone Blue. Foghat has sold a ton of albums. In the 1970s, you were listening to Foghat. So they're all dead, except one guy, the drummer. His name's Roger Earl. He's the only original member of the band Foghat. Coming up October 4th, Foghat will be in Petoskey, Michigan at a casino. Now, this is Q100 Michigan territory, my radio station that I do the morning show for Monday through Friday from right here. EZ, will you interview Foghat? I go, yeah, of course, yeah. Now, I'm always just say yes. Just say yes. Now, this is a little tricky. Now, they have a particular way of doing it. Listen, I'm given the marching orders, and I just say yes. EZ, will you interview Foghat? Yes. Okay, this is what we want you to do. We want you to do the interview and record it, and then send us the material, and then we will edit it up and use what we want. I go, sounds good to me. Now, up there, they are a hell of a lot more meticulous with the details than I am. Because if it were me, I would just open up the mic and talk for 30 minutes with dude from Foghat. But they have a way that they do things there. And this is not up to me to put my own spin on it. All I do is play the music, make a smart-ass comment, and if they tell me to interview somebody, I'm going to interview somebody. Jeremy writes, oh, yeah, everybody's talking about the drummer from Foghat. Everyone knows he's the focal point of the band. Okay. Now, this show is going to sell out there. And the reason why is because of this. First of all, let me get rid of everybody on Facebook and YouTube here. If you want the rest of this story, you got to go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Follow me there, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app and just type in Eric Zane Live, all one word, and there I am. The audio from this podcast is made available on all the podcasting platforms after it's done. I go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, review. Send me an email in the Shoreliner Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. And don't forget about me on Patreon. Try 7 days free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. That means you can get episode 28 of Who Are These Free Beers? Patreon.com/Eric Zane. All right. Kick them out. Facebook and Twitch brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. X brought to you by Blue Frost IT. Foghat is an act that they benefit on the fact that no one knows that they're all dead. People just assume that what they're seeing is Foghat. But these guys have been dropping like flies for years. In fact, when I was on the radio in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, we flew into the radio station because they were carrying my show. And we were to host the Foghat concert. This was 10 years ago. And the only original member was that same dude, Roger Earl, the drummer. So we go on stage, we go, it's a rough Foghat. Everybody goes, oh, yeah, fool for the city. Fuck yeah, slow ride. Now, in New Hampshire, that is across the hard living line, so they don't know better. Now, these are a bunch of dumb fucks that live there. Okay? No offense if you live there. And Foghat comes out, and I take a look at the lead singer. I'm like, I think I know that guy. Who the fuck is that? The night ends. Like 150 people are there. The next day, we got to get on an airplane and go back to Grand Rapids. And I sit down and I look to my left, and it's the guy who was on stage, the lead singer. He's going back to Grand Rapids. I look at him and I go, Foghat. And he goes, yeah, Charlie Hune, how are you? So Charlie Hune, he's retired now. He's about 70. He's from GR, obviously. He still lives in the area. And I had seen him at various shows over the years. He used to sing for Ted Nugent and Humble Pie. And so Charlie got recruited to perform in Foghat. So I was like, God damn it, we just saw you last night. Yeah, it was great. So he was the lead singer in Foghat. He retired. He was replacing the dead guy, Lonesome Dave Peverett. So now there's a new guy there. So the band is going to be on stage next Friday. And you got Roger, who's like 79 years old. And then three dudes who are like 24. That's Foghat. But the people there, okay, if you're Foghat, you're looking at a map. And you're trying to find the hard living line in each state. So they know. US 10 North, okay, any venue there, we will sell out. Those are dumb people who don't know Foghat from a hole in the ground. So them appearing at this casino is like you or I seeing Bruce Springsteen. It's already sold out. So, EZ, can you interview a member of Foghat? I go, of course, yeah. Hell yes. So I just reached out to some chick. Hey, this is Eric Zane. This is an interview request. to talk with Foghat. And I got the old, schedules are super busy. Does it matter who you talk to? And I go, no, man, all legends. These are all legends. Are you kidding me? Ladies and gentlemen, your old pal EZ with a few words about my latest and greatest partner, Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. My goodness. Prize Picks, what I love is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and all you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Check this out. One. Caleb Williams' passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in the month of September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. Now, you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Also, good news, Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, your picks are still alive. How about this for a lineup? Tyreek Hill for more than 90 receiving yards. Dak Prescott for more than 263 passing yards. Josh Allen for less than 240 passing yards. And CeeDee Lamb for more than 96 receiving yards. Then you watch, you root, you have fun. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code Eric Zane and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code Eric Zane, of course, on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. So I know that the key to this is give them as much availability as possible. So the next question, when? I go, any day after 2. Good to go. Okay. We're going to have you talk to Scott. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, so I got to look this up. So let's see what'll come back. Scott from Foghat. This would be a Dude Shadoway interview. I think this is somebody named Scott Holt. Scott Holt Foghat. Yeah. And it says right in the description there, to kind of corroborate what I was talking about. In 2022, Foghat lead singer Charlie Hune decided to retire. That's the guy I was talking about that I ran into on the airplane. Was the natural choice to replace him. Okay. So I am going to be talking to Scott Holt. All right. So I'm sure he's very good. I'm sure he has great chops. But, okay. Now my task is make this interesting. Now, I can interview anybody. If I was interviewing any of you dumbasses, I could make it interesting. There is no better interviewer on the planet than your old pal EZ. So this is going to be awesome. This is going to be a great interview. I'm going to make this guy feel like, he's just had the most incredible musical career, and this is his final tour. Ryan knows that. He writes, I've said that for years. You do incredible interviews. That's like what Larry King told me. The time I was interviewing Larry King, and I was doing a horrible job, and he stopped me mid-sentence. He goes, Eric, you know what the key to interviewing is? Oh, well, Larry. Listening. You aren't listening to what I'm saying. If you were listening to what I'm saying, you would ask me interesting questions. But you're kind of just not even listening to me, and you're thinking of questions while I'm talking. You're not listening, are you? No, Larry. That's the problem. You gotta listen. You can't be doing something else. You can't be trying to think of a question. You gotta be paying attention to the goddamn guest. What the hell was that? Kenny said, or like Rick said last week, you're a great interviewer. Yeah, that wasn't my best. Wasn't my best. Little interrupting was going on. By the way, that was featured yesterday in Who Are These Broadcasters? Makes me very happy, though. So I guess today I'm interviewing dude from Foghat. Scott Holt is his name. All right. DJ Plunkett says, quote, what did he do with the food? Some of you remember that great line from the Larry King interview. All right. Once again, thank you to Impact Power Sports, impactpowersportsmi.com. They are awesome. Another key sponsor is Estate Wise. Don't go another day without starting this process of getting your estate in order, whatever it is. Even if you're Kenny, who basically just has like 6 video games to his name right now, if you don't have your estate planned out, it's not just tangible items. It's talking about your wishes, power of attorney, in case something happens to you that you're incapacitated medically. Let's say you eat 3 shepherd's pies on your cheat day, and then you have a grabber. You're done. Who's going to take care of you? You want to avoid probate. You want to plan for your minor children. This is something you need to do, and I have just the guy who can help you with that. His name is Zach Marco, estate-wise.com. Call him or text him at 616-540-7544. Reach out to him and say, Easy was talking about you. This sounds like something that I want to take advantage of. Where do we begin? And Zach will help you every step of the way. Thank you very much. We have a heating and cooling specialist on this show. That would be Joe Martinez. 616-516-8579. So each and every year at about this time, I remind you that it's very important for you to get your furnace system tuned up. How about we add to that a tune-up and a diagnostic test? Now, that is $145 out of pocket. But Joe has teamed up with DTE Energy to give you this amazing deal. 100% off. That's right. DTE has teamed up with one HVAC company to offer this exclusive deal, and it's for my listeners. 616-516-8579. Schedule your furnace tune-up and diagnostic test today for free. Asterisk, only if you haven't taken advantage of this in the last 2 years. Otherwise, get started today by reaching out to Joe. 616-516-8579. He's in Mexico right now, but his staff is ready to book you. Just reach out and get this done today. 616-516-8579. Stevie says Joe is like a generic Beetlejuice. He'll appear if you say his name 3 times, but all he does is talk about Michigan football. Concerning the estate of one Kenny, he says, I have everything. From the Atari 2600 forward, except for the Turbo Graphics, Neo Geo, Atari Jaguar, OG Xbox, and newest Xbox, with tons of games for each system I do have. Plus 10 arcade one-up cabinets. Well, somebody's got to be on the estate plan there, Kenny. Do you have an Atari 5200? You seem to be a connoisseur of old video game systems. Like that's your thing. How about an Odyssey? ColecoVision? Intellivision? Are those all in the Kenny estate? Ryan says, I'm kind of hoping your interview is a complete troll session. Perhaps asking ACDC questions or something that will piss him off. No, I'm all in. It'll be great. It'll be very enlightening and entertaining with Scott Holt, the lead singer of Foghat. Kenny says, no. I just had the Atari 2600 and went from that to the NES. So my bad. I left out all those super old ones. So the Atari 2600 is the most rudimentary game system that you have. It's so basic. At the end of the day, it's more entertaining to look at the artwork on the boxes or on the cassettes that go into the game system than actually playing them. I mean, those are rough. Do you go, yeah, I think I'm going to hook it up today and spend a Friday night playing those games? Because they're shit. They're so bad. You can play better games on a year 2001, I should say, Nokia phone. That's how bad the Atari games are. And back then, so in 1978, I remember my dad buying Gunslinger for $60. Now, $60 in 1979 money. Let me look that one up. $60 in 1979 money to 2024. $60 in 1979. That means for a pile of shit game, that's like spending $260.16 today. Wow. Unbelievable. That's a fortune. How much did a car cost then? Cheapest car in 1979. I'm guessing it was like a Rabbit or a Chevy Citation or a Chevette. The average price of a new car in 1978, the average price was $5,905. My God. Rebecca says, I still have my Atari and all the games. Kenny writes, Asteroids was pretty great on it. It had colors at least. The arcade was black and white, you know. See, Kenny, these are all things that have to be in your will. You can't just assume that the world is going to take care of it. You need to call Zach Marco. God damn it. Kenny says, Asteroid. This is a real world problem for Kenny right here. He writes, hey, mate, Asteroids on the Atari 2600 was the first game to really piss me off. I rolled the high score over like an odometer in a car, and I was furious that it just kept going. What? What if... Really? Were you an adult when this happened? So you were pissed off that it went back to zero? You wanted it to keep going? Wow. Talk about getting wound up about something like that. Pretty much solidifying years and years of heartache in the future as an adult. That type of emotional attachment to that game means that it's got its claws in you for years to come. And here we sit with you at 67 years old, still. That's not true. I'm only 47. Right. He says, I missed supper and got in trouble and everything. Bob says, I think I remember seeing an old ad and a Chevette was listed at $2,999. Absolutely. My God. All right. So big things on the horizon for your old pal EZ. All right. We had a real local idiot here. This guy was just sentenced. 31-year-old Timothy Andrew Crane had spent all of the years leading up to 31 basically doing stupid shit. Getting busted for doing stupid stuff. Slowly but surely increasing in intensity with the criminal activity. Several prison sentences since 2010. At one point, he was busted for a robbery in which he was unarmed at the time. He was on probation. The judge took it easy on him and said, all right, this is an unarmed robbery. You've had enough jail time already, prison time. I'm going to put you on probation for this one. You ever wonder how people like this never really acknowledge the opportunity that is being afforded to them in like a fresh start type of way? We talk about a perfect way to finally put your criminal past behind you at just 31 years of age. I look to my pal Throat/Dale, who I just spoke with today. Dale was quite a slow learner. Dale spent the better part of his young adult and adult life up till about 10 years ago doing time in Michigan state penitentiaries. Prolific drug dealer. While in jail, he was running a very successful and lucrative bookmaking operation. Still didn't get it. Finally was released. Finally turned his life around. Clean and sober. And because Dale was an excellent drug dealer, one of the best that's ever lived. He was a West Michigan version of, think of any prominent drug dealing family. He was like Pablo Escobar of West Michigan. And since that time, whenever he runs into various cops in the Muskegon area, they're like shocked that he's turned it around. He now works for the police. He's one of these guys now that goes into schools and says, hey, guess what? You're fucked up if you're doing drugs. He's one of these guys. Trying to scare the shit out of these people into what's going to happen to them if they continue to live a life of crime. It's a fantastic story. Now he works very, very hard in his power washing business and restaurant cleaning and hood cleaning business. In fact, he cleans the hoods at Bosco's Pub. I introduced him to Dale. I introduced Dale to Doug. Boy, you know what? If there was ever a fight between those two, I would love to see that. Those two Titans going head to head would be outstanding. He used to be great at trivia while having sex, too. Yeah, I remember he would be like boning when I called him. Yeah, hang on, I'm almost done. Ugh, so rough. Kenny says, for fuck's sake, man, turn your Windows sound off. No, I like it. I like it there. You're assuming, I don't like people just barking shit out at me if you haven't noticed yet. You can't just yell at me and expect that that's going to get you anything. I like those sounds, okay? Shut up. Amy points out that Kenny uses the term supper. Yeah, that's a Hilljack thing. Supper, bless your heart, Kenny. Anyway, so this guy goes ahead, and he hasn't gotten it yet. He has not pulled a throat slash deal. This is a dude right here. He went ahead and robbed another bank while on probation. And he walked away with he asked for $1,200. And he went ahead and got $690 from the teller. Now, just look at this guy. That is the face of a loser. Just the idea that this guy here on his mugshot, he can't even manage to look straight at the camera. Of course, he was busted. He has been sentenced to a little more than 4 years in federal prison. The incident happened in June of 23 at the Comerica Bank on Monroe Avenue in downtown Grand Rapids. Police arrested him 2 days later. My God. How the fuck is this even possible? How are people this stupid? Court records indicate Crane has grappled with mental health and substance abuse issues. Well, of course. Mr. Crane turned to drug abuse to cope with his homelessness and mental health struggles. His attorney wrote in a sentencing memorandum, Mr. Crane needs all forms of treatment to get a hold of his various issues. What a piece of shit. You know, seriously, there's no turning back. And Mr. Crane here, he has the ability to vote just like I do. It always boggles my mind that that's a thing. I don't think he'll be voting in the next election, though. Speaking of election, Trump is at it again. And this is interesting. Trump is claiming, he made a claim early today on Truth Social that Iran is making ongoing attempts to have him assassinated. He writes, big threats on my life by Iran. By the way, if you ever hear anybody refer to it as Iran, you got to correct them. It's Iran. Trump adds, the entire U.S. military is watching and waiting. This happened just hours after Ryan Wesley Routh was charged with attempting to assassinate Trump on the golf course earlier this month. By the way, Routh, he left a note that said this is an assassination attempt. Trump adds moves were already being made by Iran that didn't work out, but they will try again. Not a good situation for anyone, he continued. Are we still in the spot where people are like hoping that Trump actually gets shot dead? I know that was a thing. I had conversations with a few people that will remain nameless who, after the first attempt, when I still don't know if his ear was shot. I don't believe that the bullet actually hit his ear. I believe that that was like fragments from something else that was hit. I don't believe that his ear was hit. Doesn't matter. It's still an attempt on his life. I had more than one person say, God damn it. Yeah, I don't want to repeat that. Trump says, I am surrounded by more men, more guns, and weapons than I have ever seen before. He's surrounded by women, too. There's like women's Secret Service. That one chick, she was like 3 foot tall, was trying to protect him. Trump adds, thank you to Congress for unanimously approving far more money to Secret Service. 0 no votes on this, strictly bipartisan. Trump then writes, nice to see Republicans and Democrats get together on something. An attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. Yeah. I like that. I mean, it's so rare that you ever hear Trump say anything positively. It's always bragging or talking about himself. Rarely is it like a positive thing like this is. But all right, so good. Trump did not go into details about exactly what the alleged attempts on his life were, excuse me, or if they were related to domestic threats. Talks about the 2 attempts on his life. The second one by Ralph. They opened fire on that guy. He was not struck. He fled the scene, was apprehended a few hours later. He faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. You know, if there's going to be an attack on Trump's life, there's a fairly good chance it'll be on camera. Molly is here. She says no one should have their life attempted. Just sad. I mean, no one. Well, I can't agree with that. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.